to my show. Y'all, this is happening. Goddess on the Rise. I'm your host, Sarah Berg. Goddess on the Rise is all about empowering women, learning how to love yourself no matter what phase of your life you are in, and living a healthy lifestyle. So buckle up, girlfriend, because we are going for a ride. Hey guys, Sarah B here, and welcome to episode 3. This is the very first episode of the new year, and I'm so excited for it. Honestly, I just had foot surgery about 2 weeks ago, and I totally thought I would be able to get around a little bit better than what I have been. So this podcast has been a little bit delayed, well, at least this episode. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I went through this little phase where I was super depressed, right? I couldn't get around by myself. I had to rely on my husband and one of my dearest friends, Erica. Erica, if you're listening, I hope you know how much you mean to me, and I just love you so much. A little off topic there, but anyways, I have had to rely on them so much these last couple weeks, and it's been a little bit hard. I'm not the type of person who likes to ask for help, and I mean that in a way, whereas I don't like to ask for help for things that I know I can do. So it's been a little difficult relying on them and not being able to get around, get outside, walk, run, work out, hike with my husband and my dog. And it's just really gotten to me. So I had to take a little step back, kind of realign, reevaluate where I'm at, why I did this. And if you don't know, I had plantar fasciitis in technically both my feet, but in my right foot, I've had it for about 13 years. Yes, you heard that right. 13 years. Crazy, right? I was diagnosed with it when I was 13 years old, and I so vaguely remember being so upset because we were going to Disney World and I had to wear these super ugly shoes to help with my plantar fasciitis because it hurt so bad to walk. After that, I did a whole bunch of different things to help heal it, including, I did acupuncture, I did gua, I did cortisone shots, physical therapy, I had custom orthotics made, I slept with a brace on at night. I know there's something I'm missing, but I can't think of it right now. But eventually we decided that it was time. It was time to do surgery so I could be pain-free. So here I am, and it's been a little bit of a struggle this year because I had it done December 20th, I think it was. I think it was December 20th. And I just did not think my new year would start out this way. But one of the beautiful things about the life that we live is that we are in control almost 100% of the time. And I was able to kind of get myself out of that little rut. And that is what my next episode is going to be on, is kind of how to pivot and get yourself out of a depression or calm yourself down. So I'm super excited. So look forward to that coming soon. But today's episode is something I really have been dying to talk about. And it's really something that I think we all see and hear, and we don't even quite know what it is, and it's social media influencers. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I've noticed more and more, and not even just social media influencers, but even documentaries, and just anybody on good old Facebook, we have so much misleading information out there, and I think it's time to kind of take a step back and realize what information we're taking in and what that means. So let's start off first talking about what a social media influencer is. A social media influencer is someone who has acquired a very large following on a social media outlet. So some of those outlets can be like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, maybe even LinkedIn. And basically, what these social media influencers do is they can literally influence you to feel a certain way about a certain product, or the way you live, or food, or just anything. They can influence you. It's very exactly what the title is exactly what a social media influencer is. Someone who has an influence on you. And a lot of times I notice these social media influencers, they get paid for certain ads that they promote. And a really good example of this, I'm not going to use names just because I don't want to make anybody feel bad about anything. But very, very famous, there's a very famous family out there. And you see them use these shakes, like a 310 shake or Sugar Bear hair vitamins and gummies. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those items. I haven't done enough research about them. I personally don't use them. But they talk about these shakes and these wraps and these vitamins, and they claim that they give you all these amazing results. Like, if you drink this shake, you'll lose all this weight. And this is how I got my amazing results. And we all know that, I pray a lot of us know that that is a load of crap. Like, obviously you didn't drink that shake every day. You're just getting paid for the ad. And a lot of the times you see the post and you'll see hashtag ad in there, or you'll even see ad at the top or paid partnership at the top of their Instagram stories. One of the things I'm noticing more and more is like even Bachelorette and Bachelors, if the famous show on TV, they're getting paid partnerships and ads. So you could kind of call them social media influencers as well. And a lot of times these can be great items and products to use. I'm not dissing them or anything like that, but these people are getting paid for their ad that they are promoting. Another great example of this is companies that send you items, and then you talk about the item that they sent you and you review it on your social media platform. So a very good example of this is there's this box that, this company, and the company is called Influencer, and they send me boxes every so often. And if I promote them on my Instagram, I get to keep the products for free, and I'm supposed to review them and give them an honest review. Most of the time I opt out of the boxes because a lot of times they're full of a lot of the products are full of chemicals that I don't really use on my skin and my hair and things like that, or makeup that I don't really use. So there's been a couple boxes that I got that were really, really cool. But if I review them on my social media and tag the people, then my chances of getting more product for free is even higher. Now, this can be super, super great, or it can be super, super harmful. A lot of the times, these social media influencers are making these claims or coming up with these claims that they did this and had this result. When number one, it's not backed by anything. It's just them making a claim that the company makes. Or number two, they're not even actually doing that. They're straight up lying. I'm going to take something for example. Now, this isn't backed up by a product or a company or anything like this, but say a social media influencer says, I am dairy-free and gluten-free because it is super important, and milk is bad, and dairy shouldn't be consumed by people, and gluten is just full of toxins. Well, there is a lot of research that backs that up, but a lot of times these influencers are just coming up with things like what I just said and not backing up by anything. Or the research that they share is only research that promotes that idea that they are promoting. I've noticed also a lot of these social media influencers will create these meal plans and fitness programs like them recording themselves doing workouts, and they have no certification, no degree, no nothing. This is also, I'm going to call out one of my favorite companies, and it's Beachbody. This is one of the things I personally love, Beachbody. And I am a coach through them, and I've been with them for almost 6 years, 5 or 6 years in June. I've made thousands of dollars through them. And when you sign up to make money through them, you are called a coach. And I think that's really cool. And I love the idea of it. But one of the things that has not gotten on my nerves, but has made me very cautious, is that some of these coaches, which Beachbody does not promote, I'm going to tell you straight up, Beachbody has never told anybody to do this, of my knowledge anyways. But some of these coaches are making these claims and saying these things like advising people to stay away from dairy or stay away from gluten or cut this or do intermittent fasting, or doing all these crazy things like adding coconut oil to your coffee, which can be great, but they're telling these people these things and they're not backing it up, or they have no degree or certification to support them and why they're making these claims. And that can be so, so dangerous. Intermittent fasting, I've done a lot of research about it, and it can be great for some people, and for other people, it's completely unnecessary. And here's what I want to tell you guys. If something feels good, by all means, freaking do it. But if something makes you feel like shit, excuse my language, but if something makes you feel so, so crappy, why are you doing it? Like, what research is there out there that supports why you're doing what you're doing? A really good example of this is the keto diet. The keto diet was originally made for patients that had diabetes. And it's such a huge fad, and that's one of the things that drives me crazy about social media influencers, is they're promoting these big fads. And like I said, I don't want this podcast to be like just tearing down social media influencers, because some of them are actually doing it the right way. And for those people, kudos to you. You're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. But with people promoting the keto diet and then all these people out there are just trying it, I just want to scream. Like, I see they post pictures of them eating heavy cream, cheese, bacon, avocado, all these like super fatty meals, and then like just this big piece of meat and like no vegetables, like no carbs. And I'm like, whoa, oh my God, slow down, go get some help. Like, if you want to do a diet, which I highly, highly do not recommend dieting, there's so many people that do yo-yo dieting, and literally you go on this diet. It's nothing that you can maintain for the rest of your life. And then you fall off track, and then you gain all the weight back, and then you go on the diet again. And it's just a really bad relationship. And I really think it hurts the way people look at food. Food can be so good for you, and it can be fueling, and it can just feel good to eat. And there's nutritious things out there, and then there's not so nutritious things. Both of them, you got to have this balance. Like, people will say like pizza is bad, and sure, should you eat pizza every day? Heck no. But pizza every now and then, it's not going to hurt you, and it's not going to kill you. Like, why do you think pizza is bad? Like, you got your carb, you got a fat, you got some protein, and you got some veggies. What the heck is so bad about pizza? Like, seriously, like, your average person, your average American is not going to be able to eat 100% perfect 100% of the time. And saying that they should do that is just outrageous to me. I have been following this one girl on social media for a while now, and I have been so torn about her account, and I'm not going to call her out or anything, but some of the things that she says are amazing. And then other things that she says, I'm just like, okay, do you hear yourself? And one of those things she talks about is food privilege. And basically, she's talking about social media influencers saying that you should only eat organic, and you should stay away from frozen vegetables and stay away from the inner aisles of the market, and you should only shop the outside aisles. And I could totally agree where she's coming from. Like, that is really bogus. Like, There's nothing wrong with frozen vegetables. Sure, if you're able to eat in season 100% of the time, girlfriend, go for it. Like, I'm down for that. But if you're not, frozen vegetables are great. Frozen vegetables are usually picked at their peak and they maintain their freshness for a very long time. Yes, you're probably going to lose a little nutrients and vitamins when you cook it, but that's still okay. Like, quit telling people it's not, guys. It drives me crazy. And then like those inner aisles, like they have some really good things. Like, not everything is junk in those. And once again, not all the time can we eat like 100% perfect. Like, it's okay to have a freaking toaster strudel every once in a while, okay? Like, any of my 90s kids, raise your freaking hand right now because you know what I'm talking about. If you had the toaster strudels in the mornings for breakfast, like, girl, we can go way, way back. We vibe. Anyways, and she was just talking about food privilege. But here is my opposing side of this, is that if you can afford to eat organic, do it. Like, what a controversial topic, but we all know, and if you don't know, do some research. And when I say do some research, I mean look at both sides and come up with an educated decision. Don't just listen to a social media influencer or someone on Instagram and Facebook that says organic all the time, always, forever. That's my life. And if you think chemicals are bad and pesticides are bad, like blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to even go into all that, but I'll say this. Organic, there's still pesticides used with organic foods. They're just a little bit more of a natural pesticide. But once again, do your research. I have such a hard time listening to people who promote one side or the other and they don't share both sides, because that's not realistic and you're not doing anybody a favor stating your opinion that half the time isn't backed by research. There is this amazing podcast I listen to. It's called Evidence-Based Birthing, and it is a nurse who had a very bad experience with her birth. And she decided to come up with this podcast that helped women make decisions for themselves. But in this podcast, she shares both sides of different things that people have questions about, like epidurals. She tells you the good and she tells you the bad. And she tells you both sides with evidence-based research. And I think that is so magical and empowering, and oh my gosh, like that right there is a great nurse, first of all, and just someone who has an influence on people, but a good influence. She doesn't tell you her opinion. She tells you the research and both sides, and then she lets you make the decision. And I think that's what we need more in social media. We need both sides. You can't sit there and tell me that dairy and gluten is bad. Dairy and gluten is bad for some people. Other people can completely tolerate it, and it's absolutely ludicrous to have them remove it from their diet. I mean, I'm just going to tell it like it is. Like, not everybody has to remove dairy and gluten. And the fact that people are telling people to do that and to remove these food groups is just absolutely crazy. Just like with carbs. I will tell you, before I did my research, I was one of those people who tried keto and also tried intermittent fasting, and it was the worst idea ever. Stupid. I cannot believe I freaking did that without researching it, but I was a little bit more naive, and I just am so mad at myself that I trusted someone on social media that I had just been following who had no degree, no certification, basically just consumed this information and then regurgitated it. And I just, it's so frustrating. But anyways, I tried intermittent fasting and I got so sick. And same with keto. And come to find out, it's not one of the greatest things to do with people who have thyroid problems as bad as what I do. And so I was literally harming myself just because I listened to someone on social media who did their jobs, influenced me. A social media influencer influenced me. And that's what they're supposed to do. So one of the things that I find is very, very important has helped me so much is it's okay to listen to what those people have to say, but just know that's not the final answer to all your problems. You are in charge of your life and the decisions you make. So if you hear something and you're curious about it, do your research, look up both sides, and then make an educated decision. And like I said, it's not just the social media influencers' fault. Like, there are so many documentaries out there, like What the Health. If you haven't seen that, it's got some great information in it. But, and same with Forks Over Knives, but it used a lot of fear tactics, and it scared people into going vegan, or I can't remember. I think one of them was cutting all the gluten out and going vegan. And literally, how ridiculous is that? I mean, come on. If they presented both sides, I think it would have had a lot different response. But everybody has an agenda at the end of the day. That girl that has been messaging you for like 6 years, asking you to join her challenge group, Becky from high school, she's got an agenda. Like, she wants to sell something to you. And I get it. We're all about making money, and, we got to do our things and boss babe it up. But I mean, come on now. It's something to just always keep in the back of your mind. When you read something, take it with a grain of salt. And I know the reason why this is so near and dear to my heart is because only like 6 months ago, I was one of those people who would read a newspaper article and immediately freak out. Like, oh my God, I need to cut that out. I can't have this anymore. And I'd have this all or nothing attitude, and it just did not do me any justice. And it wasn't helpful, and it was hurtful, actually. And it was nothing I could maintain, and then I would be feeling bad about the decisions I made and just kind of spiral down. And so I just want to kind of help other people who are like me, who, you want to live a better and healthy life and a healthier lifestyle by cutting out toxins. And, you trust these people on social media and these big fitness people and even these documentaries. And it's just, it can be very, very hard and overwhelming to understand that information. And I have learned that the more I take it with a grain of salt and do my research, the better I feel about it. It can come in one ear, I absorb it, I take what I need from it, and go right out the other. It doesn't leave me feeling awful, miserable, scared, and worried for my future. It leaves me educated and feeling good about the decision that I've made. So, without further ado, I really hope this podcast kind of resonated with you. I didn't want it to be all like doom and gloom and like, be careful out there, people are scary, but it's just something that I think we all kind of need to know and need to be aware of, that everybody has an agenda and everybody is just trying to make a dime. And some people who don't even realize the information they are sharing can be hurtful or harmful, are still putting it out there. And like I said, they have no clue what they're talking about and how people are really taking their information and applying it to their everyday life, and it can really hurt them. So I had to share this. It's been on my heart for a while, and I hope you guys understand this and really take it to heart and just make educated decisions when you're listening to people. And heck, even when you're listening to me, I think it's great if you take the information that I say and you research it and then you apply it to your life. There's nothing wrong with that. Just know you're always in control. And if someone on social media is making you feel a certain way and it's not a good way, feel free to unfollow. No one says you have to stick around, especially if they're making you feel ucky. And I've literally had to do a social media cleanup here lately. I've clicked the unfollow button, the hide button, and the block button so much here lately. And I felt really bad about it for a while, but after seeing these people's content and it just making me feel crappy or make me feel a certain way. I just know it was in my best interest. So you are always in control, friend. So as you guys know, all my podcasts end in a positive affirmation. And today our affirmations are going to be about knowledge. So without further ado, here are your affirmations. Now with these affirmations, you can do whatever you like with them. You can take them on your daily walk. You can write them down and journal how they make you feel. You can look in the mirror and say them to yourself. You can post them on social media and tag me in them. Let me know what you think about them and how they make you feel. So without further ado, here we go. I claim my power and move beyond all limitations. I am continuously growing in knowledge, wisdom, and insight. Everything I need is already within me. Positive abundance follows me everywhere. I have the power to control my thoughts. I am confident I can achieve any goal. I am releasing self-judgment and embracing self-love. I am at peace with my past. I am resilient, strong, and brave. I choose to be happy right now. By being myself, I bring happiness to others. I am letting go of all that no longer serves me. I can manifest everything I dream of. All right, guys, those are your affirmations for this episode, episode 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please make sure you review it, rate it, subscribe, share it with your friends, and don't be afraid to DM me on Facebook or Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Sarah Brooke Berg, or you can find me on Instagram at Goddess on the Rise. I look forward to reading all your reviews and listening to what you guys have to say about this podcast and this episode. So I look forward to seeing you guys in my DMs, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, guys.